doorbell. Okay, so let's find the clock. Okay, the first question is, do you love geography?
Personally, I don't really like geography because I'm not bookworm at it. And I'm not also very good at looking at map pointing because of how complicated they are with a bunch of information on on like a globe with a lot of symbols. It made me not it I'm just not a big fan of maps or geography in general. Plus, you can get learn some ridiculously weird things, not only about the environment or forests or countries or some non-countries, but you also get learn some weird numbers because why would I want to see such numbers with a floating zero and some random slashes? Or maybe two slashes.
Okay, do you think learning geographic knowledge is useful for you?
Personally, not for me.
Oh.
Because though many people think that geography is a useful subject, I don't see it as useful at all. Well, I don't mean to hate it. Because I know geography is vital for our educational system. And and uh and uh kids should also learn more about the country that they live in. It's just that it doesn't fit my type. Therefore, I study in a class that doesn't learn geography at all.
Okay. So are you good at reading maps?
I was never good at reading maps, even though I used to be. Well, used to be in a different term. Back then I was a big fan of vexillology. I would study about flags of every single countries, and it developed me like a habit of studying new countries. It gave me like a passion for geography. But then when I stepped in school, I was stepping middle school. I realized that geography is not as easy as I thought. Maps are so ridiculous. They got tiny symbols located randomly on each spaces and a bunch of random words and also weird lines with like a line and a dot and a line and a dot. It just makes me confused everywhere.
Okay. So what is the difference between mobile maps and paper maps?
Well, paper maps are limited they're only available in a certain area of the paper based on how large or small it is. But for a mobile map, you got no limits because you can just expand and make the map larger and larger to the point where you can see the map of the whole globe instead of just the map of your country on a paper in your classroom. With the existence of Google Maps, you can even view the country itself in 3D in real time.
Okay.
Unlike on a map that is just 2D and drawn by a random person.
Okay. So who taught you how to use maps?
I taught myself how to use maps actually, not for, because due to me not enjoying geography at school, I'm most teachers of that subject didn't really benefit that much from my map reading skills. So with the help of my habits of vexillology, I developed myself some a bit skills about about reading maps, but it's not that. But it's not an expert level yet.
Okay. Yep, I see. So now you describe someone you don't know but would like to know more about. Okay.
Yeah.
You start now. Describe someone you don't know but would like to know more about. 2 minutes. Start.
Personally, there's this one guy in particular that is very mysterious to me. Well, not only to me, but to everyone in my class. This guy here, he barely talks. And yeah, and he is also very introverted. But that doesn't mean he's shy. He's very bold and brave, and whenever a teacher calls him up in class. Plus, he's very smart. And even though I have a good English accent, his English skills are better than mine, I must admit. Even I felt ashamed to not be the best person in class when it comes to English. Like I have to dethrone myself. This guy here, due to him being smart at almost every subject except for literature, since he despises that subject just like me. But yeah, aside from that, he's an expert at every subject, especially math. I wish to know more about him. The weird thing is that he kind of hates me because he has a rather disappointing traits that I don't like about him, and that is he's racist.
Okay.
Look, we may be both of us may share the same nationality, but due to me having a tan skin and his skin being a lot brighter, he's just casually being racist to me, and I don't know why. Just because my skin is tan. But either way, I think he's just joking. We see each other's as frenemies. But I don't. But both of us don't rivalize each other. But one day, I really hope I get to have a talk with him and learn more about him, since he's a guy that I admire, even though I'm very jealous of him.
Okay. So now let's move to part 3 of the test. Are there any differences in the relationship between you and other people?
Wait, what the other people? What are the other people?
Okay. Other people relationship and your relationship with them.
Like, for example?
For example, you and your friendship, you and your family ship, and your friends and their friendship, your families and their friendship. So are there any differences in the relationship? Like that?
Differences? There are a lot of differences, and the differences are like very large,
Okay.
if I think of myself. At home, I act loyal to my parents, since they're very serious most of the times, and they fit the stereotype of strict Asian parents. Also, I'm kind of scared of my parents because of how compulsory they are in my study, and how like I must act like a normal and loyal person to them. Like, don't swear, and just don't act weird, even though I act weird in public most of the time. But to my brother, I see him as my best friend, just like Gumbo and Darwin, because me and him, we share the same traits and personality. We
Oh,
like our habits are the same, our favorite cartoons are the same, our favorite video games are the same, and it has got to the point where him and I only has only spoken English throughout our years. Ever since I met him, believe it or not, even though we're Vietnamese. But when it comes to my friends at school, I act a little crazy since they're the people that I don't really know much, and I always joke around with them. Whenever I go to school, my loyalty starts to drop down. I always review my a lot more sinister self of mine. Like at school, I joke a lot with my friends. I say a lot more explicit things, and I'm always playful with them. Unlike at home, where I just stay in my room and do my personal business.
okay. So now the next question is, do people feel lonely in crowded cities?
Well, yes, everyone feel lonely, even though there are a lot of people in a crowded city, like a huge chunk of them. Though there are many people in a large crowd, no one wants to talk to each other. They just want to be lonely because most of them are too shy to talk to each other. Like who would want to talk to a random stranger at random moments in a public area? Plus in a modern decade, there are a lot of people are becoming introverted, and that's why most of them are lonely in crowded places.
Okay, yeah.
And so the chances of them making friends and talking to each other are very rare, unlike past times.
Okay. So where and how can people get to know new people?
It has to be in some of the most certain situations, like could be at school where they can have a talk with a person sitting next to them, or at work where they can interact with their workmates. It can also be with some of your family members, like your cousins, or like your cousins or uncles or aunts. And and in a situation in a situation like a crowded area, earlier, and if you want to make a new friend, like you don't want to feel lonely, just try to act friendly to a random stranger, and maybe they'll do the same to you. You be friendly with them, they'll be friendly with you back, and both of you will have a kind relationship to each other, and that'll form
Mm,
a friendship that'll last for long.
okay. So can now let's ask about personality. Can clothing tell and reveal a person's personality?
In my opinion, let's start the clock. Is it me, or is the clock stopped?
The clothes, is it?
Wait. I know, no. I'm just waiting for you to continue the clock.
Yeah, okay.
So, in my opinion, clothing clothings don't identify a person's personality,
Oh,
because they because in my experience, I wear a lot of weird clothes because of how messed up my taste in fashion is. I because 2 years ago I bought this shirt of a of a feminine character that I like, and my mother, she was worried about it, like, and she thought, why would wear a shirt of a female cartoon character, but and I was like, well, I just like her in general. I mean, I just like her character, and my dad just bought it, like because he knows my interest in that character, and and due to but due to my mom being worried about people about other people seeing that shirt, I have to wear that shirt only at home and not in public places. But at some moments, I'll let my friends see my cool looking shirt, and they liked it, and they think it's funny. Plus, and also I can't forget about my brother. His fashion is a lot different. He wears jackets because he has a weird obsession with jackets and hoodies and coats. He just, well, whenever he goes out for to the mall or a party, he always sports a jacket with him, especially a white jacket with a hoodie, because he thinks hoodie makes him look cool. Even if the temperature outside is hot, but he refuses that and continues to wear a hoodie, even though my mother has advised him many times before.
Okay, yeah, I see. So, why do individuals from the same family have different personalities?
Because based on the time they were born, because parents parents in our country, they're born in a time after or before the Vietnam War ended, so they experience our country in a rather corrupted state and slowly improving. So that's why most Vietnamese parents nowadays are pretty strict, based on the effects of the Vietnam War back in 1975. But for us kids, or Generation Z, as people suggest, we're born in a more modern timeline, where there are large TVs, video game consoles, iPhones, and a lot more crazy technologies that I have never heard of before. That is the main difference why the older generation can't cope with the newer generation, and why the newer generation can't cope with the older generation, which also creates a rather huge conflict between both of them. Even I had my own little conflicts with my parents when it comes to what I like and what they like. Just like that shirt situation from earlier.
Okay. Yeah, I see. And now, how does society influence a person's personality?
It depends on each society. If it's in a rather peaceful and serene environment, that the person in question could have a more developed and matured type of personality. They'll be just your average city person living their normal life and being kind and loyal to others. But in a society where everyone is toxic, always despising each other's, that person could develop a rather corrupted and messed up personality.
Oh.
They'll be hating, sending death threats, or saying explicit words at more than in a daily basis. and they'll become a horrible person overall. So which is why there are many different ways to define a person's personality, and one of them is the place they live in.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yes, thank you. So that's the end of the test.